little royal? Ah, you're looking well. Yes, your new crown complements your skin nicely. I assume that means you're another step towards being comfortable in your own body? I hope so. Have you heard the rumors, young one? Yes, those rumors. I'm afraid they're true. That's actually why I'm here early. Tonight we'll be skipping past our lessons. Consider this something of a final review before you go. Go where? I'm sorry, do you not know? Daring Royal, what rumors have you heard? I see the disconnect here. Yes, your kingdom is planning a war. And as always, that means your father will be leading it. But you will not be hiding away in the palace this time. Yes, you will be joining your father on the war front come first light tomorrow. Your parents have shielded you often from war. But you are of a fighting age. You're trained in the ways of the sword, and now you may be the mage with the most raw power in the entire army. Your father's war council insisted you be brought along. If it makes you feel any better, your parents objected. And thus I imagine your father won't thrust you in too deep. But the benefit outweighed the risk in the council's eyes. And they can be quite persuasive when inspired. You are going to war. It has been decided. I am here to impart as much combat training as I can before you go. Young Royal, you don't seem to be thrilled with this detail, but you don't appear scared either. Care to tell me what's running through your head? All that practice and you're still worried about your magic? Well, you aren't wrong. A battlefield is one of the more stressful locations on which to perform magic. But I promise, you will be okay. You've come far enough, and I do believe you're ready. If I didn't, I promise you wouldn't be going. Yes, I am your teacher. I get a large say in what you do when it comes to magic. Your father called me as soon as your abilities were mentioned. I could have objected, but I didn't. Because you will be fine. Tonight is just as well a place to pause our training as any other. Yes, pause. The pursuit of magic is a lifelong goal. Every magician is learning until the day they die. I may have had a few lessons planned out, but there was no end. After those lessons would have come more and more still. And when you return from war, should you so choose, the lessons can resume. But now you are to be tested. Young Royal, are you afraid of a battle? Are you afraid of a battle? I think it's a simple enough question. I've taught you too well. Yes, I ask because I have an answer, no matter what you say, and I think you already know what I'm thinking. Well, if you aren't scared, then that means this dread is unearned paranoia, which is oft best to be ignored. If you are scared, then I'd remind you that your magic makes you nigh unkillable, and that you'd still be resting behind a line of soldiers, knights, and bowmen. So you can agree that you aren't in danger, yet you still fret. What plagues you? A much more reasonable fear. Failure. You worry that you won't make a difference. that your spells will fail you and you will be forced to flee. Fortunately, this fear is as unstable as the ones I mentioned. Yes. Firstly, you are an incredible magician, albeit one with a major confidence problem. When you are out there, I have no doubt that your magic will sway the battle. But there is an easier solution to your worries. Think this through with me. Are you not skilled with your sword? And your accuracy with a bow? How many can match it? So, in a clinical sense, you, without magic, would already be a great help to your kingdom, would you not be? And therefore, even if you failed to cast a single spell, no one would mind. No one would care, because you are a great help, even if you do not level armies. So then tell me, what are you scared of? I'm glad you see it my way. Now let us begin. It's very important you rest before the coming battle, so I'll try to keep this brief. This will mark the first time you've ever used a spell actively, and more importantly, the first time you may have someone cast a spell at you. There may or may not be one or more mages present on the battlefield, but that doesn't matter. It's best that no matter how many people you are fighting, you think of the fight as a series of single duels. It'll help you focus. Of these duels, most should be an easy sweep in your favor. Anyone who is simply armed with a sword is a non-factor. You should pick one, easy spell, and use it against everyone who does not pose a magical threat. I cannot stress this enough. Battle isn't a show. Some sorcerers insist on casting a myriad of unique spells, and more often than not, that showmanship gets them killed. Pick something you're good at and spam it. There are no rewards for impressing the enemy, only for stopping them. Now, the place for more advanced spells comes when you face another magic user. If you don't, then rejoice, the battle will be easy. But if you do, then you need to keep your wits about you. Before any battle of strength comes the battle of the mind. You have a secret weapon when compared to almost any human mage. You are stronger than them. Chances are your natural shielding will block the lower tier rabble they call spells. But there is a chance that someone will bring something that could actually hurt you. That's why I want you to make a decision. Right now, I want you to decide that should anyone ever be a real threat, you will shield yourself. You will focus your magic on protecting yourself, then observe them. I guarantee your energy reserves are much greater than theirs. Should it come to it, you can simply post up until they tire themselves out. Now, a smart mage won't fire fruitlessly into your barrier, but putting up a shield will give you time to think about your next course of action. Never act hastily. You always have time to make a good decision. Always. The hardest part of fighting a fellow magician is what comes after. Once you've defeated them, it is easy to forget where you are. Easy to forget that the duel you just won was but one of many. It is critically important that once you win, you move on. When you are on the battlefield, you may never stop fighting. Now this leads to an important concept. There comes a time when you need to regroup. This battle may be short enough to be won in one swing, but more likely than not, you will need a break midway through. However, a full-scale retreat would leave you vulnerable and worry your own soldiers. Fortunately, there's a better way. When you're running low on energy, slow your advance. Backpedal while still attacking. Slowly, more and more of your troops will pass you. You can then fight less and less until you are no longer doing anything. At that point, simply draw your bow and aid from afar. Empty your quiver, gauge how much energy you've gained, and then consider rejoining the fray. Now, you may feel as though this is cowardice, that it isn't fair for you to ease back. That thinking is flawed. You are still fighting with your bow. But even if you run out of arrows, you should not fight until ready. A healthy mage can put a stop to platoons of soldiers. A dead mage can do nothing. It is better you rest and bring about a second wind than die in the first charge because you exhausted yourself. That is a full outline of the battle. A simple cycle you can follow until you find victory. It's not as glamorous as any book may have led you believe, but it is solid. Through this slow, methodical sweep, you can win wars. Burning bright and withering would do you no good. Now, do you remember your breathing pattern? Very good. Hold it close. A cannon is a great weapon, but if loosed, it damages those who fire it much more than what it is aimed at. If the din of the war becomes too much, breathe, focus, and stay calm. The last thing you need is to accidentally hurt someone. Now, is there a specific spell you'd like to learn before you go? That's probably for the best. I believe you're due to get a few last-minute changes done to your armor. Little Royal, I want to restate that I'm very proud of you. Even discounting your magical ability, you're a natural. You've been a great student, and I know you'll grow into a fantastic magician. Who knows? Maybe one day you can teach me? Now run off. I'm sure the maids are angry I've kept you this long. Go and try to remember what I've taught you. Best of luck, young one.